We get a lot of questions on drawer fronts, especially top drawer fronts, because in some cases you cannot fit a panel raise in a top drawer front. Before I get into this, I want to mention that the ability to put a panel raise in a drawer front is dictated greatly by the overlay and by the door or drawer front style. So in inset cabinetry, the top opening on your drawers is only 5 inches, so your drawer ends up being a little less than 5 inches tall. It almost always has to either go as a slab drawer, just a one-piece drawer like this one here, or with a flat panel, like this drawer here is shown when you've got framing, and the framing would be skinny, and you have a flat panel. You're going to be dictated by that small opening on inset, where one of those two options is mandatory. You will not fit a panel raise. On miter doors, standard mortise and tenon doors, when you're doing overlay, this drawer front gets much bigger. Typically you can fit a drawer front with a panel, but it might have to get a flat panel, because if we put a raised panel on here on this top drawer front, the panel raise comes to a point basically. There's no flat area for you to mount hardware. It's almost a running change as well, where if Conestoga deems that it's too small to fit a panel raise, they can't get at least a 3/4 flat area for hardware, they're going to switch it, or we're going to switch it for you to a flat panel. It's going to come that way. So be aware of that. This particular kitchen, from a design standpoint, we opted for a big slab drawer front and then these flat panels below, just to try to set off the top drawer front and to keep the price down. So here you can see slab with an edge profile, kind of a shaker style with a flat panel and flat panel. We're going to go off camera here, bring it to a different room and show you raised panel drawers and how that looks in an application. Okay, now we're in a bathroom at the same house that shows a little bit of a different application. CRP 10 door, L801 profile, MV panel raise, OG bead framing. In this case, we opted for panel raises in all these openings, and we could just barely fit the Conestoga minimum 3/4 inch flat here to mount hardware, which we've not done yet. We will. Things we want to note here. Notice your drawer fronts, whenever you do a matching drawer on a mortise and tenon style, the top and bottom rail are 1.5 inches. Your side rails are 2 1/4, and that's the same even on these bigger ones. So if you want, you as the customer from a design standpoint can say, well, I really want full framing here to match this on these bigger drawer fronts that can warrant it. That's fine, we can do that. It's $1 per style or rail to make these non-standard full top rail, bottom rail on matching drawers to match up with your doors. The top drawer will not allow that. If I made this 2 1/4, 2 1/4, I'd have a little teeny rip of panel in there. Conestoga is not going to risk the fingertips of their operators to shape a panel that's only 3/4 of an inch wide. So they're going to make you do narrow framing, and then you can fit this panel raise. Now, let's say we were doing 1/2 inch overlay, or we were using a slightly different door style that didn't allow a 3/4 inch flat area here for hardware. If that's the case, and Conestoga says, oh, the resulting framing, panel raise, stack tolerances will not allow for a 3/4 thick flat, they're going to make it go to a flat panel like the one we showed in the kitchen. It's going to end up having a flat panel to give you room to mount your hardware. So if you think about this, if you're doing a cup pull that's got a big surface area on it, that wouldn't even work on this narrow rip of panel raise. You'd want to do a flat panel there. A lot of folks get kind of worked up about that. Oh, it's not going to match my bottom panels. It looks fine. It looks perfectly normal, and every manufacturer does it. So in that case, you'd have panel raise to match your doors. And the top one would just be a narrower flat panel with plenty of room for your hardware. It looks totally fine. It's still a solid wood panel, if that's what the drawer or door front calls for. There's no penalty you're paying in terms of price or design. So if you have any questions, the drawer fronts do get a little complicated. Just give us a call. We can send you some imagery that'll kind of illustrate it for you, but we hope this video helps you understand those options as it pertains to both the drawer style and the overlay.